wasn't recording, so I am recording now. My bad. No, you shouldn't.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
That was the first time nobody asked and you forgot, so I don't know.
Oh, I didn't forget though. I just did it. All right. So I could have added some movies on the command line here. I think I actually, at this point, since our app works, would prefer to just go ahead and add them through the form because I know that the form works now, right? So I can go into the page. If I want to add some movies, right, I can add some movies in this way, and I know that it works. Oh, there we go. Oops. Cool, right? So there's another problem, actually, and you can kind of see it here. This page is no longer functioning properly. Why not? Did anybody look into this? See why? I don't see the movie name here, right? So let's take a second to figure this out. If I look at the template for the ratings, which is here, you can see that, okay, for one thing, there's a to-do here, right? For another thing, there is, I don't see actually the name. Oh, here, I see movie.name, right? So that implies what? That implies that I'm giving this template an object, or I think more specifically a list of objects. I'm giving this, the way I've written this template, it makes it seem like I'm going to give it a list of objects. Is that what I'm actually giving it? Let's go check. If I look up ratings, which is here, what am I actually giving to it? I'm giving it get watched movies, which returns, where did it go? Oh, right here, which is a list of strings, not a list of movie objects. So this is actually broken. We need to fix this too. The instructions didn't really explicitly tell us to do this, but we do need to fix this. We need to make sure that this is returning a list of watched movies. We wrote a very similar query to this in the walkthrough today, right? So it's actually right here on the screen. You can see it. And so I'm just going to grab this and change one thing. I'm going to switch this to say watched equals true, right? And that should give me a list of all the watched movies. And now, instead of having these movies hard-coded in here, oh, okay, it's blank because I haven't actually indicated that I've watched anything yet. But if I go back up here and click this button and go to ratings, hey, now I see that it showed up, right? And now I need to figure out how to store the rating. So I can do this and hit the rating button, and it says that I gave it a rating, but it doesn't actually remember the rating. So I come back to this page, and it doesn't list my rating here, right? It doesn't indicate that I've actually rated the movie. So that's our next and I believe last step. So how do I store the rating? Where's that going to go? In the function for right here, right? It fetches the movie rating confirmation. So it grabs the movie from the database, similar to how we did it in the walkthrough. And now we need to actually make that change persistent. So how am I going to do that? Say that one more time.
Rating equals movie capital M parentheses rating.
So that's going to make a new movie where I pass the rating into the constructor, and the constructor is expecting the name. So I'm actually constructing a new movie object, but for the name of the movie, I'm passing in the rating. So what's happening? That's similar to what we did in the walkthrough, I know, but not quite the right step to take here. I actually already have a movie. You can see this line of code here is looking up the movie in the database. So I just need to make sure that this movie here has the appropriate rating. Yeah. Movie.rating equals rating. Good. Oops. No, I spelled it right. I don't know why I didn't think I did. All right, are we done? Nope. I gotta stick it in the database. db.session.add movie. And then the last thing to do is db.commit. Yeah, of course. You're right. I'm mad at myself.
And is movie go in the parentheses or?
Yes, because the only thing I can save in a database is an object that is one of our models, right? I can't just pass a rating to the database. It's not going to know what to do with it. I have to give it an object. Yeah.
So I feel like the last time we like adding a new movie to our database.
Yeah.
In this case, you're simply updating an attribute.
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. Before we used add to add a brand new movie to the database, and now we're not adding a brand new movie, we're adding a movie, an updated movie, right? And so what's happening here? The ORM is going to look at the primary key in this object. It's then going to look in the table and be like, oh, I already have a movie with this ID on it. I've seen this before. So this is not new to me. This is an existing movie. It's then going to go through the fields and say, all right, something must have changed, right? Which one of these fields is different than what I've currently got? It's going to see that rating has changed, and then it's going to update the rating column in the table. So you're correct. When I use this add method, I'm either doing an insertion or an update, depending on whether or not that movie is already in the database. And it's smart enough to figure out which one it needs to do without any of our input.
Can we talk about the if statement?
Which one? This one?
Yep.
Okay.
Shouldn't it be in? Because shouldn't get watched movies return the movies that are watched? Because shouldn't you be rating the movies that are watched and not watched?
If the movie is not in get watched movies. So if I haven't watched this movie yet, I can't rate it. I mean, yeah. Yeah. No, that's fine. So this should, make our rating permanent now. So if I come in here and I give Matrix the only rating that it could ever possibly have, and then take a look at phpMyAdmin, maybe. Oh, I have this. Gotta close that. Come on, ma'am. So I'm going to go in here to phpMyAdmin and take a look at my movies table. Now you can see that I do have this additional column and it did get the rating value. But there's still one more problem, which is if I go to the ratings page again, it still is not showing me that rating. So I know it made it to the database, I saw it, it's in there, but I wanted to show me what that rating is on this page. I wanted to remember the fact that I made that rating and then tell me what that rating is. And this is actually a tricky little piece of information. What file do I need to mess with to fix this? The HTML file, the template. So I'm going to go to the ratings page. And there's a little to do here listed, right? If it's rated a movie, I need to make the box default to that. So what's the HTML to specify which option you want? What's the HTML to do that? Selected. So I just need to figure out some way to stick that word selected into the appropriate option, correct? So how might I do that? If statement, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So where does it go? That's a good question. I don't want to touch this because that's what's actually showing up in the box, correct? But I can add some additional stuff. Actually, where does it go? Let's Google it real quick. Hang on. I just don't know if it goes, I don't know which bracket. Okay, so it goes inside of the first option tag, right? The opening option tag is where it will go. All right, let's do it. So I know it goes inside the open option tag. So how do I put an if statement in here? What do I have to type?
Oh, you're going to put the if statement like side the tag?
Heck yeah.
You're taking it too fast, Doug.
Heck yeah.
Too fast, too soon.
How do I put an if statement in here?
Oh, do you have to do the curly?
Curly brace. Curly brace, %. If what? Movie.rating. If movie.rating what? If it exists? That's not good enough though, because I want it to, it's not if it exists, I need to make sure that I pick the right one. If it equals whatever the rating is for this tag. I've got this list up here, for rating in such and such, right? If the movie rating equals whatever rating I'm currently looping through, then what do I want to do? I want to say selected. Actually, whoops. Close this. Selected. And then I need to end my if statement. So this word selected is only going to show here if the rating from the movie object matches whatever rating I'm iterating through on this list. Yep. So what if there isn't a rating? What's it going to do? It'll just show the first one. It'll just show the very first one, which is how was it? Yeah, it'll show how was it. So let's test it out. Let's give it a try. So if I refresh this page, oh, there it is, boom, it remembered. If I go add a new movie, like Finding Nemo, and add it on, and then watch it, and then go to the ratings page, it says, how was it? Because I haven't rated it yet, the empty string didn't match anything, so it just defaulted to the first one on the options list, which is how was it. But if I rate this one, I mean, it's also kind of 5 stars, right? That's a good movie. And now it remembers that one as well. If I change it, and then I go back, it remembers. It remembers. It's in the database now. It's all there. Yep. We did not write very much code today, but it made a very big difference in the functionality of our website, of our app. I think that's the studio. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. Yeah. This was a tricky one. Even though it wasn't a lot of code, that doesn't mean it was easy. This was a tricky one, especially that options menu one. That was a very tricky problem. Are there any questions before we call it a day? All right. Have a great week, everybody. I'll see you back here on Thursday.